So in this particular reading in Thessalonians, he was reminding them the place of work. He was reminding them that they have been called to use the skills that are in their hands to serve diligently. And that's very important for us as stewards. Many times when we think about financial wellness, we keep asking ourselves, like, what do I have? What can I do with what I have? How do I make the most of what I have? And it's such an important question because it becomes the first tool which God can use to increase our financial wellness. I always remember when I was thinking through beginning to do like more with the things that I was already intrigued in when it came to financial wellness. Because many times I found myself, especially with the younger women, when we start talking about life, somehow our conversations would move towards financial wellness. Do you have a savings? Do you invest? What do you think about your future? Just different conversations. What do you do with your money? And the beautiful thing is, this was also passed on to me from those who helped me in my early days. In some of the earlier conversations, I speak about like when I was coming into adulthood, one of my aunts was like, "It's your birthday, here's the money, but go and open a bank account." And I'm just like, it was not for eating. When I started my career, one of my earliest team leaders would be like, "Why don't you think of keeping money aside in a pension?" So here I was with this skill set that I was really early career and starting to build up. But I was being encouraged to remember that my work will be a key way for me to be able to have resources to put into my savings, into my investment, and things like that. Then, when we come into the reading in Acts, we see that Paul was very present to look for opportunities for ministry, but he also looked for people who are like minded. We see him find Aquila and Priscilla, and we hear them more than once in scripture. And they had a trade, which was the making of tents. And Paul comes into agreements with them, and he also goes into the making of tent. So, just for clarity, I've seen this as I was just doing research and reading up on some things around this conversation. It didn't mean that Paul did not open his hand for support, but it meant that the support that came found what he was already doing. So he was stewarding the gift he had, using it to build for the finances he needed, even though he was surrounded by others who were supporting this journey. And we see it in quite a number of the letters, especially should be the church at Colossae, the Colossians, where he writes to them that their giving was so important. They never failed to send a giving to him, a collection for the believers, because they understood that they had a role to play in supporting the work of God.